Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you don't already know me, I am Heather Ione. I am a blogger and a YouTuber from St. Petersburg, Florida, and I create content all about self-help, health, and wellness. And today I wanted to come to YouTube to do a little bit of a check-in video because several weeks ago I shared a video talking about my decision to join the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And I remember before I decided to join IIN to actually enroll and become a student myself, I was watching tons of videos and trying to read blogs and listen to podcasts wherever I could, hearing other people's experience with IIN and whether or not they liked it and things like that. So I just finished the first section of IIN, I guess you would say. There's 4 sections to IIN, to all of the content, and each one of them has 10 modules. So I just finished the first section, did the first 10 modules, and had the first test. So I wanted to kind of share my experience so far with IIN, let you know how it's going so that it might help you in making your decision to enroll or not. So the reason why I joined the Institute for Integrative Nutrition is because I am a self-help and wellness blogger. And I learn a lot about self-help and wellness on my own. I've gone through my own journey in this. I'm still going through my own wellness journey. And I love sharing my experience with people. I love talking about it. But I felt like I needed to have some sort of health and wellness background, whatever that was, because I studied communications for 5 years and I know that I'm so passionate about the subject, I should be able to talk about it however I want, but I know that there are some people that still need some sort of validation that I know what I'm talking about. So I joined the Institute for Integrative Nutrition so I can learn a little bit more about health and wellness, and so far that definitely has been helping me. I started watching all of the lectures, and my intention was just to become a better self-help and wellness blogger, to learn more, to sort of get different people's perspectives, to learn about all these different doctors and what they were doing, what they had to say, which ones would resonate with me. And I really enjoy that experience so far because it has been so far really helpful for me. It has given me a lot of content to write about. It has given me a lot of different ideas, a lot of different perspectives. I've learned things that I haven't quite thought about before. So I think it's been helpful for that reason because, we tend to get very focused on our own perspective when it comes to health and wellness, that it's easy to forget that other people have different experiences. And there's also research suggesting that this diet is better than this one and this one's better than that one. So nutrition is just very complicated and it has a lot of different perspectives and opinions around it. So I think it's good to kind of get out of your own perspective and just kind of hear what other people have to say without them sort of pushing any sort of agenda. So I like that about IIN. I like that there could be a lecture all about carbs and why they're good for you, but then one about how they're bad for you, and how natural sugar is good for you, and then natural sugar is terrible for you. I like hearing these different perspectives from people. And I've also had several lectures that I really resonated with, and one of them was actually in the fundamentals section. So that was even like before we'd actually gotten into the actual modules. I watched this one lecture that was from Dr. Andrew Weil, and he was talking all about inflammation in the body and how low-level inflammation that just kind of lingers and stays there for years and years and years actually goes on to create all of those bigger diseases and conditions that we're so terrified of but are just becoming more and more frequent, like heart disease and cancer, all of that. So he was saying that if you can address low-level inflammation and get it to stay where it needs to stay and end where it needs to end in the body, then you are at so much less of a risk for all those terrible diseases, those age-related diseases that we see so many of our parents and our grandparents getting now. So he talked about the importance of reducing inflammation. He talked about a Mediterranean diet, about turmeric, about, incorporating Asian influences, and I just found his video super interesting and inspiring, and I actually used it to create a whole blog post about golden milk and inflammation and how golden milk reduces inflammation. So if you're curious about that, you can read that on my blog, lostonlineblog.com. So I thought that that was really interesting. I really like how it's sort of like broadening my horizons with IIN and how I'm sort of learning things that I wouldn't have known otherwise. I will say IIN, it's a commitment when you enroll in something, but it doesn't take as much time as I thought it would, and it's actually pretty easy to catch up, I've found so far. I also really liked that they talk about primary and secondary food, but when you're first hearing about IIN, they only talk about the 4 areas of primary food that they think are the most important, which is relationships, exercise, spirituality, and career. But when you get into IIN, they actually start talking about the tree of life, and they talk about all the different aspects of primary food, or no, circle of life, not the tree of life, sorry. But they talk about like finances have an impact, and that's part of your primary food, and joy is an impact of your primary food, and so is like home cooking, that's an aspect of primary food, and all of these different areas that kind of make us well-rounded. And if a bunch of those are out of whack, you're not happy, because if your finances are terrible, if your relationships are terrible, if you don't have any joy, if you never go outside, if you don't have any physical activity, all these different things, you're not going to be happy. So I like that they have this circle of life exercise, and they keep talking about it throughout the entire program. I think it's really good if you're enrolling in the Institute for Integrative Nutrition to write down your intention in the beginning and remember what it is. And that's actually an exercise that they have you do in the first, not the first module, but in the first section of IIN. They have you write down your intention for joining, because as you go through it, they talk a lot about health coaching and why you should be a health coach, and the world needs more health coaches, and this is what this health coach has to say, and this is how you health coach people, and all this stuff. And it's easy to get lost in all of that and sort of forget why you started. So it's really important that if you are going into IIN, just remember why you started, and remember that you don't have to be a health coach if you don't want to, but they're still going to train you on that. They're still going to talk about it and all of those things. So just keep that in mind when you start. Also, I wanted to say that some of the lectures have been really interesting to me. Some of them did not quite resonate with me, and I didn't, completely agree with. Some speakers I liked more than others, so that's just part of IIN. A lot of the lectures are taught by Joshua, who is the founder of the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, but there are so many guest speakers. Like, I remember Dr. Oz was one of the guest speakers, and a couple other familiar faces. They also teach you like recipes and things like that. So I'm not as interested in watching recipes, but I know some people are. So I feel like if you're interested in health and wellness, you will find lectures that you like. You'll find speakers that you like. Some will resonate with you more than others. The entire program isn't going to be like as interesting for you the entire time, but like I just met a student today, and she said she's basically loved every single lecture and she resonated with all of them, so that's great for her. But I wouldn't worry about that. I was a little bit nervous in the beginning, because when I was talking to them at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, they were like, yeah, Joshua teaches like 90% of the classes. And in the beginning I was like, I don't even think I like I don't know if I like Joshua. I don't know, watching the content that they created with him, like not the actual lectures, but some of the things he was saying before I actually signed up, I just wasn't like, I didn't like him as much. But the more I watch it, the more I think he's absolutely hilarious, and I love him, and Joshua is now like one of my favorite people. So I don't know why I ever didn't like him before, but I was a little bit nervous because I thought he was going to teach all of them, but there's definitely a lot of variety. A lot of different speakers. So one thing that I was also curious about before I started the Institute for Integrative Nutrition was the tests, because I just did 5 years of college. I graduated like not last April, like a year and a half ago now. And I've taken a lot of tests in my life, and I was like, I don't know if I want to take more tests. And I was really debating about that, because I was just like, oh my God, like isn't that part of my life done? I don't want to take any more tests. And I was really worried about it when it was coming up on this very first test for me for IIN. I was actually like 3 modules behind, and I was really nervous. I was like kind of panicky about this test. I knew I had 2 weeks to take it. I like read through all of my notes before I did the test, and the test is open book, and it's only 30 questions, some of which are true false. Others are like there's four, standard like 4 different answers you can choose from. And it was actually really, really easy. And it wasn't a big deal at all. I was like, I don't know why I was so scared about this. It's definitely not something you have to like worry about, like, oh my God, am I going to pass it? So far, yeah, there hasn't been really anything to do other than that first test. They give you like assignments and you have to be part of the discussion and stuff, but I haven't started like the coaching circles portion of the program yet. And we just started getting into that part of health histories and like how you do them, and like how you should approach a health history, what you should say, how you should make people feel comfortable, where you should meet, all of those types of things. So now I'm getting into the section where I'm starting to do health histories with friends and family and, meet up with some people and take down their health information and talk with them a little bit so that I can submit it to IIN. But so far, it's been, pretty typical. You make some lifestyle changes that you feel you want to make in your life. You participate in the discussion. You do the little assignments and stuff, a lot of which is just a lot of reflection and things like that. It's not anything that you have to turn in. So it's relatively easy. It's not like a huge commitment, I've noticed. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about with IIN is I was really excited to start this because I thought I would be meeting a lot of people in the St. Pete and Tampa area that were in IIN, and I would be connecting with more people. And I thought people would be more excited to meet up who were other students in the program, but surprisingly, that didn't happen. A lot of people were like really jazzed up like the first week, and they're really excited and talking to each other. But then after that, people just completely stopped talking to each other. And I actually made like several coffee dates to talk with people and meet with people and possibly do health histories and stuff. And I actually like got stood up from other girls in the area. So I was really bummed because I thought that this would be like a chance to meet other people who were interested in health and wellness, but unfortunately that just wasn't the case. I think it's just because it's an online school. Maybe someone else's experience would be different, but for me, I just haven't found anyone that's like interested in meeting. And there have been other people that have reached out and tried to get groups of us together, and so far none of that has worked out because people will like open the Facebook message, read it, and then never even reply. So I was a little bit surprised at that. I thought people would be a lot more excited to talk to each other and to meet other students than they have been. So that's kind of a bummer. But I did actually meet one woman today. Her name is Jennifer, and she's also a student. And she asked if we wanted to meet up and practice health histories. And we did, so that was really nice. I got her health history, and I wonder if I still have it right here. Oh no, it's back there. But that was pretty cool because like she wrote down like all of her answers, and I got to like review it with her and like practice what it would be like to be a health coach, and it was kind of fun. I liked it. And I think that even if I'm not going to start a health coaching business, I might just like coach a few people just for like more experience and expertise and just to kind of hear what other people are going through. I feel like that could help me a lot. So yeah, so far that's basically been all of my thoughts on IIN, how it's been. I think it was definitely a good decision. It's given me a lot of content for my blog. It's given me a lot of insight. It taught me about things that I didn't know about already. It's also forcing me to pay attention to my nutrition a little bit more because even though I'm interested in health and wellness, I've never been like super, super health conscious to where I like eat all organic vegetables and fruits and things like that. But it's definitely making me focus on like, wow, like I am actually eating a lot of carbs. Like maybe that's not a good idea, or maybe I should like incorporate healthier carbs, or maybe I need to not eat the same vegetables all the time. Maybe I need to branch out. Maybe I need to experiment with this. Maybe I should try this spice and stuff like that. So it's been really helpful for that reason. What I like about it is that it just kind of shows that everyone is a work in progress and everyone could stand to better themselves. So I like that the people who are training to be health coaches in IIN, they're also like taking that opportunity to work on themselves and to learn more and to experiment in their own lifestyle and to see where they can improve. And you don't have to be perfect to become a health coach. You don't have to like be in perfectly good health to be at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, or even walk out of IIN being in perfectly good health. So if you're thinking about it, I definitely recommend it. It's been really interesting. It's been a lot of fun. It hasn't been a crazy commitment in my life or anything like that. The tests have been pretty easy. Really, the only kind of bummer was that I thought more people would be excited to meet up and like meet each other who were in the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, but maybe that's just like the batch of students that I have in St. Pete or Tampa, or maybe, I don't know. And maybe it's just because it's an online program or something like that. So your experience with that might be a little bit different than mine. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. These are just like random, unfiltered thoughts about IIN because I just thought it would be super helpful to put some extra like check-ins about how IIN is going for the people who are curious about it, because I know I found it super helpful when I was trying to decide like, is this program actually worth it? Should I really do this? Do people actually like it? Is it going to be like what I'm expecting? All of that. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you have any questions about IIN, please, please, please let me know. And before you head out, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel below. You can also subscribe to my blog, lostonlineblog.com. And if you subscribe, you'll get all weekly blog posts sent right to you. You can also find me on Instagram at heather.ione, I-O-N-E. And you can find me on Pinterest at Lost Online Blog. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.